So how do I create an 8-part series called Street Food Journeys Malaysia without being able to journey to Malaysia? Okay. Now, if you're watching this in 2021, you'll know we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and if you're based here in Australia, you can't even leave the country. So my challenge across 8 weeks is to showcase Malaysia through its food, and in particular its hawker food, and through the stories of these hawkers without being on the ground in Malaysia. Okay, so I'm going to deploy a number of ways to do this, including using some footage from my previous trips to Malaysia with my little special needs child Noah, and also I'm going to call in a bunch of people to help out, including my Masters of Malaysian Cuisine chefs. But our focus is on the food. My Masters of Malaysian Cuisine chefs and I are going to show you how to recreate some of the most popular, most famous Malaysian street food out there in each of these destinations, but simplified so you can recreate them in your kitchen here in Australia using locally available ingredients until such time as when the borders reopen, we can all travel to Malaysia and try the real thing on the ground there. Okay, so that's the mission with this 8-part series, and I hope you enjoy. This episode of Street Food Journeys features Donald and Lily's Nyonya Restaurant, the Baba Nyonya Museum, Satay Celup by Debbie Teoh, the JetLag Warriors, Melaka's historical sites with Shaukani Abbas, Mi Bodo, Coconut Shake by yours truly, and I asked 2 of our Masters of Malaysian Cuisine chefs about what dishes they think of when they think of Melaka. Stay tuned to find out their answers. So why Melaka? Melaka is really kind of where it all started with Malaysia and its history. I remember growing up and studying in school about the Prince Parameswara from India who founded Melaka. We learned about Princess Hang Li Pe from China, who came to Melaka with her entourage of 500 ladies in waiting to marry the Sultan of Melaka. We learned about the warriors, Hang Tuah, Hang Jebat, and all their friends. We learned about the Portuguese invasion, the Dutch, and the British. But it all actually started in Melaka. The Donald and Lily Nyonya Restaurant is famous in Melaka, but it had very humble beginnings. It used to be a hawker stall. In 2013, the restaurant gained international recognition when it was named among the top 20 in the World Street Food Masters Award for the year. Today, their daughter, Jennifer, proudly continues the legacy as she serves customers who come for favorites such as Nyonya Laksa, Mee Siam, Nasi Ketuk, and Chendol.
So Jen, I'd just like to find out how Donna and Lily came about, how it all started.
Okay, back in the early 70s, my parents actually started selling in front of the house, a veranda house at the Heritage Museum Street area. And then my parents started push cart in the early 70s also. This is the only picture of the push cart where they sell their specialty, Nyonya Laksa, Mee Siam, we have nasi lemak and everything else lah. Okay, these are the pictures of them, the only pictures of them. We also sell char kway teow and everything, all mainly like street food, hawker street food.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in the early 90s, we went back home to open, and in the 2000 we came here in upscale selling hawker food in upscale kopitiam like this lah, a cafe. Yeah.
When your father had the push cart, did he move around?
Yes, he was moving around.
Yeah.
In fact, like daytime he sell laksa and mee siam. And in the evening, he sells those steamed peanuts and also corn. Also,
Okay, right.
so he was moving around.
Yeah, so that means he did not just sell one item.
That's why he
yeah.
sells several items to make ends meet lah.
Okay.
Because back then we were very very poor also. Okay, and
Right.
just to show you, these are the items that we all use for the laksa, which is fresh ingredients.
Okay.
No curry powder involved.
Right.
Okay, during those days, my parents, of course, will have to use this
Hand mill.
hand mill, correct?
Right,
Hand
yeah.
mill. We call batu giling. Sorry,
Right.
I lost for words. Yeah.
Yep.
Those days, either that we use the pestle and mortar
Okay.
to
Very
so-called
tedious job.
blend. Yeah.
Right.
So-called blend these items. Yeah, and
Okay.
make into a paste, and we cook the paste for at least 8 hours on the wok.
Can you tell the audience what are the items you use, please?
Okay.
Okay.
These are fresh lemongrass.
Okay.
Okay, dried chilies,
Right.
galangal,
Hmm.
shallots, garlic, the Malaysian cheese, belacan, and also fresh turmeric.
Okay. And
Okay.
these are all fresh, yeah?
Yeah, all fresh.
The Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum is located in Melaka, and it used to be the house of a Baba back in the 1800s. His name was Chan Cheng Siu, and it was turned into a museum in 1985. We joined a guided tour to get a glimpse of the interior of the house.
Imagine 100 years ago, it would be very warm, right? To not have the fans or aircon, no electricity. Okay, so we have to rely solely on the natural resources. So they have to open up the roofs to allow ventilation and also lighting. So you can see this area here is very bright. Yeah? And at the same time, when it rains, rainwater would actually flow into the house through the area. I'm not joking. Yeah, you can see the floor is wet. Yeah, this morning it rained just now. Yeah. So when it rains, rainwater will actually flow into the house. And then in the Chinese culture, water symbolizes wealth, money. So imagine every time when it rains, the owner will say, "Oh, good omen. Yeah, I will have plenty of money flowing into the house." Yeah, which is a good sign. Yeah. But if you ask me whether it works or not, I'm quite confident that it works.
I spent my growing up years from 1968 to 1985 residing in Jalan Ong Kim Wee and Bukit Berang respectively in Melaka before moving to Kuala Lumpur to settle here for good. My mother was a school teacher at Bandar Hilir English School, and my paternal grandpa was also a teacher there that taught the Jawi language. Growing up, I was actively involved in competitive swimming. I would attend my trainings on a regular basis, except Sundays from 4 to 6. After each training session, we would all hog a push cart that sells satay celup owned by Yong Cheng, one of the swimmers' parents. That was how my fondness over satay celup came about. To me, that was the cherry on top of each day as we got to enjoy the warm and delicious broth of satay celup after a 2-hour long and hard training session. The stall has now upgraded and is a now well-known shop called Restaurant Capital Satay in Melaka town.
So I've got Debbie Teoh with me, my good friend, and a Masters of Malaysian Cuisine chef. Debbie, you're an expert in Nyonya cuisine, but you're also born and raised in Melaka, right?
Yes, I am, Jackie.
Can you tell us what satay celup is?
Hi, Jackie. Yeah, satay celup is about, like a satay, but it's got a peanut gravy that goes into each stick, I would say. The normal satay peanut sauce is kind of straightforward, maybe just chilies, onions, turmeric, and some lemongrass and galangal. But this one has got other spices added into it.
Okay, sure. So here we are. We can see you making the satay celup. Can you tell us what the ingredients are?
The ingredients are shallots, garlic, lemongrass, galangal, fennel. The fennel and the coriander you need to pan fry it first to get extra fragrance. Then turmeric, buah keras, candle nuts. The next thing, the most important ingredient are the peanuts.
Okay, sure. The you put some dried chilies in there, just like dried chilies that have been soaked in hot water, sort of thing, is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
They have this Hainanese bread that goes along with the sauce because we being kids, right? We wouldn't be eating all those, like maybe they have the pork slices and whatever, not your prawns or your fish cake. I would like to dip the bread with the sauce and having it with the cucumber. That's the best for me.
So that's just the roasted peanuts that you got there?
Yes.
Okay.
And then grind them semi-coarse so that you have
Okay.
some bite in it, not too fine. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Mm.
Oh, look, the oil is starting to separate. Everyone always talks about, like, if people are wondering at home, every time they read a recipe, a Malaysian recipe where it says you fry till the oil separates, this is what they mean, right? Like you can
Yes.
see the oil starts to seep out. So what do you use for the broth?
You can use chicken stock carcass, or you can just use chicken stock granules.
All right. Okay. Sure.
So add it in. So at the beginning, you notice that the broth is very light orange in color. As
Yeah.
it goes along, it will turn darker in tone.
Okay. What are the typical stuff that you would put on the skewers?
The typical ones are the beancurd puffs, then the crispy beancurd, that all those that when once you get into the broth, it will plump up and soak the most of the sauce.
Okay.
So that's the palm sugar or jaggery and salt. Eggs, quail's eggs on skewers, chicken slices, prawns, even sotong, Jackie, the sotong.
The sotong, the dried
two types of, the brown sotong as well as the fresh white squid.
Okay, sure, cool.
Mm.
Okay.
Now they've upgraded. Certain stall sells things like large prawns or whatever, that's expensive. But during those days, it's just simple things that you can get from the market.
Okay, sure.
Unlike those times when we just dip everything into the same pot.
Yeah, it might be a bit difficult nowadays to get away with that, right?
Yeah. So you see, I'm putting the egg and then the bread.
Oh, okay.
Then I just ladle some of the broth over to show you how it's being eaten.
Oh, wow, that's great. That looks really interesting. I'm going to have to try this.
Yeah. So you eat it with the bread and the cucumber. It's really nice.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for this, Debbie. The JetLag Warriors are a full-time traveling couple from Canada, and when they landed in Malaysia last year, just at the turn of the pandemic, they ended up being stuck there for a whole year. As a result, they had a great time, but they also managed to shoot a lot of content in Malaysia, and we're going to check in with them on their take on Satay celup in Melaka.
So?
It's not cold, quite hot.
Of course.
It's really good. This one is the one that we thought was bacon, but it's not. I think it's pork actually, but it's really good.
How's the sauce?
The sauce is really nice. It's a little bit different than normal satay sauce. It's a little bit more runny.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Is it sweet, savory, still peanut, right?
Peanut, a little bit spicy. I think it's more runny because they cooked it, so it got hot, it got warmed up, it got a little bit more liquidy. But it's nice, Ivana. It's impossible not to like this. It's meat and peanut sauce. It's like it's good. It has to be good. What you got there? Beef.
I think so. I think this is beef.
This is a good meal. This is fun, man. I feel like the proper way to eat it is off the stick, like you did. I
Yeah,
feel like the wrong way to eat it would be with the fork,
that's right.
right?
So I'm gonna eat it from here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shaukani Abbas is a multi-award winning tour guide who's based in Melaka. He's also a friend of mine, and what he's been doing ever since the pandemic is to take people around Melaka virtually via Zoom. He joins us to show us a little bit of some of the sights in town. Okay, Shaukani, can you tell us what this building is?
Okay, this is the Dutch Square in Malacca, and behind, in front, in the frame there you can see the Stadhuis. That is
Okay.
the building built by the Dutch when they were here way back in 1641.
Okay, so that's called the Satay. And I love how in Melaka, one of the most prominent things about it is that, like, all these red buildings.
Yeah, because the British paid it raid in 1911,
Okay,
and
sure.
we're supposed to be white, but the state government wanted it red, so the color of prosperity.
Okay, sure. And that's another thing you see a lot in Melaka, those trishaws, they're very beautifully decorated.
Yes, right. But this type of trishaw is decorated because to attract the domestic tourism. Do you know
Yeah.
how much a trishaw costs to make? It's around 6,000 ringgit.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
You do a
very
lot of
expensive. But it's quite popular with the locals because with
sure.
the children, you like to move around with them in the city
Oh,
itself.
cool. Cool. Now, I don't know if you remember this trip, Shaukani. I pulled it out from my archives, but you took me to eat mee bodo.
Yeah. If you translate it in English, it's stupid me, stupid me.
Noodles,
Stupid
yeah.
noodle, stupid noodle. But this is the most attractive restaurant because of the noodle. Because this noodle is so simple that it's so affordable. You can find the Chinese, the Indians, the Malay, they line up just to have a taste of this in the morning for breakfast.
Now, how much does a plate of this cost?
Well, around 2 to 3 ringgit. But to be frank with you, it's not the noodle. It's the spicy chili paste which make it nice.
Yeah.
And then to make it nicer, you put a bit of vinegar or soya sauce. Wow, the best in the world.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this gentleman is the
the
mee
owner.
bodo
Yeah,
chef? Yeah, the owner?
it's run by brothers. Yeah,
Okay,
do
okay.
that. So you just put the noodles there with the banquet, right? And then you put the sauce. So the sauce is made at home. You just
Okay.
put the sauce there. And in the olden days, this noodle is served during the wedding ceremony because
Oh, right.
there's a lot of people help to volunteer for the wedding. So the owner of the house will give something to eat. So they fried this noodle.
All
Simple.
right. Just like something simple to keep them.
Happy and something to eat. This is
Oh,
quite interesting. And
okay.
do you know that people from all the way from the north of Malaysia and Singapore sometimes line up long queue just to eat this simple noodle, and we call it stupid noodle because of the simplicity of the noodle.
Stupidly delicious.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah. So that's the picture of the mee bodo that we
Yeah,
bought.
no. This is the ruins of St. Paul's Church, built by the Portuguese, used by the Dutch as a place of worship, but the British used this as a place to store gunpowder. Yeah, this temple is Cheng Hun Ting Temple, and this is the oldest functioning Chinese temple in Malaysia, built after 1700.
Melaka is famous for its coconut shake, which is made with beautiful fresh coconut. But if you want a quick and easy way to do it and you don't have access to fresh coconut, this is how you would do it at home. Paul is our co-founder of Masters of Malaysian Cuisine, and he has never been to Malaysia, never been on his radar. So he's going to be my foil in some of these segments. So Paul, in Melaka, in Malaysia, I've been to this place called Kelabang Coconut Shake, and I'm going to show you how to do it in South Africa itself, all right? Until such time as when you can go to Malaysia and try the real thing. You see some coconut juice, and here I'm just cheating. I'm just using like canned coconut juice, because even though we can get like whole young coconut, it's not that easy to get. So I want to just make it easy for you. Can you get coconut juice in South Africa, Paul?
Yeah, coconut juice isn't too hard to get. We actually get it in like pharmacy, grocery stores.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. Now in Malaysia though, like what I find that a lot of Westerners do, I'm putting some sugar in. I know
That
you're
is sugar,
anti-sugar,
isn't it?
but yeah, I'm just adding some sugar here. But in Malaysia though, when we drink coconut juice, the highlight is the coconut meat, okay? And this is coconut meat that I actually bought separately. I don't know if you're going to be able to find it.
We can't
But
buy
I got
coconut
this.
meat, but we can get whole coconuts. So I don't know if that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Make sure you get young whole coconut, not the old.
Those are the green
not-
ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of thing. But you want the meat, okay? So I'm just putting some vanilla ice cream in here. So it's just coconut meat, which I found in the freezer section of my Asian grocery store, and some ice cream, vanilla ice cream, and some coconut juice, and a little bit of sugar. And usually in Malaysia, they actually add a ton of ice in it, okay? So it's basically like a shaved ice thing. But with this, because it's a little bit cold now this time of the year in Australia, and I don't necessarily like to drink something that's kind of like 90% ice sort of thing, I just decided to go without. But yeah, just throw it in the blender.
I would use the ice, like any time
You
of the
would?
year.
Yeah. Also because I didn't have any ice available, so. But this is cold because the juice is cold and the ice cream is cold, and the coconut meat was actually just defrosted from a frozen state. So there you go. So that's all it is. And in Malaysia, they would also serve it with like a scoop of ice cream as well, right? And yeah, I know, like obviously it's better to eat it there, but in the meantime, you can kind of like get a feel for the vibe of it just by doing that yourself at home.
The thing is, I can picture the fact that, it's really simple, but the fact that it's super easy as well, like, it's super easy but flavorful, if that's the way I can describe it from just watching this.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to give it a try.
This is one of the hawker stalls in Malacca, and this lady sells wonton mee.
Wonton mee is famous in Melaka, right?
Yes, and these are part of the old part of Malacca, and the road here we are looking at, we call it the Street of Harmony, because the three world religions are all along this road here. This is the oldest Hindu temple in Malaysia, built after 1700. And it's very beautiful. The architecture is old architecture, and this is the replica of the Sultan of Malacca, because we don't have anymore the palace, so we built a replica to show that this is how the palace looked like long time ago, but now it's a museum.
I asked two of my Masters of Malaysian Cuisine chefs, Bob Adnin and Debbie Teoh, both of whom were born and raised in Melaka, what food they think of when they think of Melaka.
So I think Melaka very popular in terms of dishes of asam pedas. So why I said asam pedas? Asam pedas is world famous. Well known as asam pedas ayam or chicken asam pedas. But now they improvise with the fish, with beef or with oxtail. But for me, from Melaka, people are coming from IC04 that I love to do asam pedas eco, or we call oxtail asam pedas. So Melaka is famous with asam pedas.
Hi Jackie and everyone. When going to Melaka, the must-haves are satay celup, wonton mee, asam pedas, chicken rice balls, Nyonya laksa lemak, cendol, ais kacang, coconut shake, hukiao, a different type of noodle with a lot of fish cakes, laksa nyonya, did I mention that? Nyonya food, and not forgetting the kuih keria, which is made with gula Melaka. These are a few of the must-haves that you have to try whenever you're in Melaka.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Street Food Journeys Malaysia. Now, if you want all our bonus Melaka content, including the videos that we couldn't fit into this and the recipes as well, make sure you sign up, okay? And I'll see you back here next week for Johor. I'm Jackie M. Have a great week ahead.